Life truly is like a box of chocolates because you never know what the day is going to bring. There was an incident that occurred in my life that if it were that box of chocolates we call life would contain 31 years of my life. This incident, for the sake of content and for the sake of this talk, let's consider this box of chocolates we call life, the morsels, as days or moments. And if sharing is caring, then please enjoy these 4 individually wrapped morsels, moments, or days as I present them to you. Some from the present and some from the past. Morsel number 1. It's 1987, early November, Ada, Oklahoma. I'm approached for the very first time by Detective Jeff Crosby of that police department. I had been a resident of Ada for just a few months. And I could tell by looking at this young man that he was not much older, not much younger than myself. He looked friendly, and after a few questions, he tells me to follow him to the police station. I did. I was held up for hours, from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. the following day. Fingerprints, mug shots, search my house, search my car. All of this with my full cooperation. A show of hands, how many of you were raised and taught to cooperate and obey police? But I imagine they were looking for someone like me or who looked like me. I had committed no crime. Finally, Detective Crosby says, "You can go home, but don't leave town." I did. The following day, I'm at work at Safeway food store bagging groceries. Detective Crosby approaches me for the second time, asking me to do him a favor and be in his lineup. I did. It wasn't until after that lineup that I realized that I was in trouble. I was accused, arrested, charged with rape, robbery, burglary, bomb threatening. My cry of innocence was unheard. So that I had to trust that the wrong would be made right. I had to believe that the truth would prevail. I was forced to believe in the justice system. In the months it took to go to trial, I never imagined that a court could select a jury, have a trial, find a person guilty, then deliberately deliberate and sentence him to 300 years in prison without a shred of evidence. I was not scared, but I was scarred. I was scarred, traumatized and dismayed by that bitter taste of unprocessed chocolate of that first morsel. I didn't know what happened to me. I was confident that the jury would release me. No, not so. Next thing I know, I'm handcuffed, shackled, and on my way back to that county jail to begin doing time. Morsel number 2. Morsel number 2 occurred in the year 2000, in about the 12th year of my prison sentence. Morsel number 2 is the day I almost became what I hate. A day I decided I would kill another human being. And I almost did. This person stole from me not only of $50 cash, but he took my hard-earned respect. He robbed me. He slandered my good name in an open, mixed crowd of inmates. Any one of these offenses is enough for most men to kill about in prison. I wanted to. I was willing to. A voice inside of me said, overlook this fool, because clearly he carried what is known as a death wish. This is a shank, the weapon of choice in prisons throughout the world. This person intently pressured me. It took a long suffering of his ranting and raving until something snapped inside of me. I was provoked to hate. I'll kill him. The same voice that just told me to overlook this fool is now saying kill him. That's how far he took me. In the morning, early, when no one else is around. So I hid my shank before lockdown time. No sleep. He or I must die. I'm focused on hate. I visualize myself plunging cold steel into him. 4:15 every day in prison. Heavy steel electronic doors begin popping very loudly against cinder block walls. Pop, 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 pop. About 40 times per unit. That was my target's only warning. It's the winter of the year 2000. You know, I step out of my cell and I quickly get the shank. I'm not thinking anymore. I hate what I have to do. I hate this prison. I hate being found guilty. Hate overwhelmed me. I became hate. I lost myself. What happened next is no less than God's divine intervention. Somebody was watching over me. His name was Corey. Corey is another innocent person in prison. Chocolate morsel number 3. Same situation, but God. I step into the building where I knew my target would be. The moment I step into the building, I hear a voice above me. Perry, what you doing? I look up and there's Corey. Come here, let me holler at you. Corey's the only man in that 1,000-man prison that I respected. Not because of his size, he was a giant of a guy, but because of his way of handling himself. He was a gentle giant. I didn't expect anybody to be up and around that early in the morning. But as soon as I seen Corey, it changed my plan. The moment I heard his voice, it changed my mind. His voice instantly reminded me that I am not what other people say about me. And I was definitely not a murderer. God used Corey to protect me from my real enemy that day, me, my unchecked emotions. Chocolate morsel number 4 is one of those chocolate bites that kind of stick together. You get 1 for 2 or 2 for 1. Chocolate morsel number 4 is my favorite of all the morsels because after that first bitter taste of chocolate morsel number 1, 31 years later, with that bitter taste still in my mouth, July 9th, 2018, I am back inside the Pontotoc County Courthouse. Ada is so very different now. It has modernized, it's got tall buildings, it's new. I have also changed. I've gotten older, I've gotten disabled, and I've gotten very much dismayed. The New York Innocence Project availed my release. I got the attention of someone. It took a lot of years out of my life, but I am thankful. I'm in court. Finally, I get my day in court. Finally, I'll get a chance to face my accusers. But it's taken too long. Something has to be wrong. After a considerable amount of time, the DA barges into the courtroom, waving papers around, screaming, ranting, and raving that I should still be in prison, that I'm guilty. Again, I'm dismayed. He and I and my advocates at the Innocence Project just a couple of days before had made an agreement that I would not seek liability for my wrongful incarceration and he would set me free. Nobody on our defense team was aware that the detective who arrested me, Jeff Crosby, had committed suicide 2 days before my trial or my contest for fairness. Only thing going through my mind at this time is falsehood, corruption. I knew that the DA was putting on some kind of diversion, but I had no idea what. We're in the courtroom, yet not before, not during, and not until after that court hearing did we learn of Jeff Crosby's suicide, which would have changed the entire landscape of fairness in that courtroom. To this very day, I still have not had a fair day in court. I still have not been given a fair contest, and I still have not had an opportunity to challenge those who accuse me because they don't play fair, they don't uphold the oath. Finally, I hear the judge say, "Mr. Lott, we are releasing you from custody." I can breathe again. The only word I could think of was overflow. And the stuck to part of this morsel is today, here with you, being honored to participate in a TEDx talk. And the sweetest bite of all, I am no longer inmate 170167, but I'm Perry James Lott again. I am too grateful to be hateful. And in closing, chew on this. If life brings you negativity, sadness, and sorrow, misfortune, instead of focusing on that negativity and that sadness, focus on people and places and things that bring you joy, that make you feel a sense of peace and comfort. Focus on that. and become that. As human beings, I believe that we become that which we focus on. This is not the end. My box of chocolates, of morsels, still continues. Thank you for your time.